Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and this is the Not So Serious Keto video podcast. I realize that my video release schedule over the course of November, and probably it's going to be the case for December as well, has been a little bit wonky. I anticipated that, and I think I even predicted it on one of my podcasts earlier in November. I'm going to tell you first off, it's sort of a relief to be past all the Black Friday and Cyber Monday stuff. I realize I only did like 3 or maybe 4 videos sort of related to products and Black Friday, but there's just something about that to me that feels a little excessive. But you know, it's the one time a year where I do make a little bit of money, so I do appreciate you putting up with all of that. The other thing I was thinking about in terms of giving updates in terms of my schedule and my shooting schedule and things like that, I started thinking, you know what, that's kind of arrogant, really, of me to think that all of you are just, on pins and needles waiting for the next video. Probably not the case, I'm guessing. So I'm going to quit giving updates for first off, because like I said, it feels like a little bit full of myself, but also because I'm never accurate in terms of my release schedule. Like I predict, oh, this Friday I'm gonna have a great cooking video, and then something goes wrong, something comes up. So I'm gonna quit doing that. That said, I'm kind of looking forward to this Friday's cooking video. It's probably going to feature Terry doing some cooking, so with a little bit of input or prep work done by me. Next up is a sort of keto in the news sort of story. I had originally seen this on actually a couple of different online news sources, but one was kind of right-leaning, the other was kind of left-leaning, and I just didn't, people get political over little things, so I wasn't going to link to it for either of those two news sites, and instead I'm linking to an article on I think it's the American Kennel Club. It'll be down in the description below, but it's kind of interesting because in my last channel members only, so my paid channel members, I do once a month an Ask Me Anything video. So they submit questions, and then I record sort of like a podcast specifically for them, answering their questions on anything. It could be keto related, it could be my family related, it could be, well, anything. Hence, Ask Me Anything. But one of the questions I got last month is, do you find that since going keto, dogs are more attracted to you? And I'd never really put it together. I kind of thought that dogs just like me. You know, maybe they just thought, oh, this seems like a fairly good person. I'm going to come up and, be real friendly with him. But it turns out that dogs can smell ketones, and this is where it comes to the article, they can smell changes in blood glucose. So just like dogs can be trained to sniff out narcotics or marijuana or bombs, they can also be trained to detect blood sugar changes, rapid drops or rises in humans. And I think that's super, super interesting. So very often dogs, I guess, can pick up on this, like before your CGM even does, if you wear a CGM, or if you're not wearing a CGM and you're just doing finger sticks for glucose, they can pick up on this. So kind of cool. Anyhow, like I said, I will link to the article down below. It's not especially scientific. I was hoping to find something a little bit more on the sciencey side of it and how dogs are able to do this, but I think it's pretty amazing. Dogs are cool. I would kind of like to have one, but Terry didn't even like it when we had cats. She's absolutely no interest. I'd probably get a divorce if we wound up with a dog. But interesting article linked down below in the description. I want to talk just very briefly about the Serious Keto newsletter. It comes out once a week, every Sunday. I talk about this in some of my videos. It's spam-free. I'll never sell your email address to anyone. And what it has in it each week is links to any of the videos, ideally 3, but it hasn't been that case lately. The 3 videos that I released the previous week, plus a flashback video, a behind-the-scenes picture. It could be something I'm working on, it could be a family-related thing, it could just be something interesting that I saw. But I also use the newsletter as my mechanism for notifying winners of any giveaways. I used to do just replying to people's comments and saying, hey, you won the giveaway, here's what you need to do. Go out to seriousketo.com, use the contact form. And a couple of things were happening. One, there were people posing as me. They were using my avatar, and they were creating a name similar to Serious Keto, one that at a glance might appear to be Serious Keto, but maybe some different capitalization or an odd symbol in there like Serious-Keto. and they were telling people that they had won and that, you know, they should go out to like WhatsApp or Telegram me or one of these other social media sites and then tell them that they had to pay for shipping. So there was that sort of scam thing going on, and then also people emailing me saying, well, did I win? Did I win? So now I use the newsletter because I've got all of your email addresses, and it's super duper easy for me to email you directly if you won. Now, why did I bring this up? I got to go back to my notes here. Oh, first of all, newsletter replies. If you reply to my newsletter, I will read them, but I only use this mail account for outgoing mail for winners of the drawings. So winners of the Keto Chow surprise box, for example. Speaking of which, I emailed the winner of that this Sunday, and she hasn't gotten back to me yet. So if your email address begins with JAM and you entered into the drawing, maybe check your spam folder. But that's it for the newsletter. I've gotten nothing but positive feedback about the newsletter because I keep it short and hopefully valuable to all of you, especially given the fact that YouTube notifications do not seem to be working all that well, especially for this channel. The second half of this podcast is really kind of food related in a way. First off, I find that on any one of my videos, whether it's a podcast, a product review, a cooking video, I will get someone that says, oh, you know, I don't like these type of videos. That's okay. You don't have to like them. In fact, you don't have to watch them. Watch the ones that you like. I kind of consider my content like a menu. When you go to a restaurant and you're looking at the menu and the server comes by and asks what you'd like, you don't start listing all the things that you're not going to eat. Oh, I don't like Brussels sprouts, so I'm not having that. And, you know, you cook with soybean oil, so I'm not having that. No, you pick what you want and that's what you eat. And that's the way I would prefer people approach my content, rather than feeling obligated to tell me that they don't like something. And interestingly, this showed up in my Instagram feed. I'm going to open it up. I get like quotes. I enjoy quotes from other people. I hope one day I'm smart enough to create my own quote. But this one comes from Carl Jung, the psychologist. And he said, "The shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases." And I think that's true in so many different aspects. It's true in terms of actual recipes, but I think it's also true in terms of keto. The way that keto works for one person may not be the way that keto works for another person. Someone may shade closer to low carb or dirty keto, if you want to call it that. Some people are more strict keto or even carnivore. Some people can afford more expensive meals. Some people can't. It's interesting as well. I saw a video from Dr. Ken Berry that showed up in one of my feeds. It might have been Facebook. And he was talking about hot dogs. It's like, yeah, hot dogs are keto. I mean, not clean keto, but if this is what you can afford and this is what you can do, then that's keto. And I kind of look at keto as what you can do, what you can sustain, what you can afford. So anyhow, I saw this quote from Carl Jung and it kind of wrapped everything together for me. One thing I've mentioned in the past on podcasts, probably more than once, is my opinion, and it's just an opinion, that carbs, specifically highly processed carbs, are essentially a drug. Or at least I feel that's the way my body reacts to them. So you crave them, you eat them, you feel better or feel good, you get that little high for a brief period of time, and then the next day you kind of feel crummy. You know, you have inflammation, maybe brain fog. And that's kind of what drugs are like, whether it's alcohol or narcotics or whatever. You crave it, you have it. Maybe you think, wow, this isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. And then the next day you feel crummy. So the other night I was having a steak, and I'm actually very often, I would probably say I shade ketovore. In fact, if I didn't have a keto channel and if I weren't married to a non-keto person, I would probably be very, very close to carnivore. I mean, I'm to the point now that when I make a meal, I'm pretty much only interested in the protein and the fat that comes along with it. Terry's like, well, what are we gonna have with it? I'm like, I don't need anything with it. I've got a steak here. I'm happy with the steak. And I eat until I feel satisfied or just maybe right on the edge of full, but not quite full. And I've mentioned this in the past before. I used to eat until I felt sick. I just wouldn't stop. And that's probably because of the low quality food that I was eating, highly processed, a lot of carbs, a lot of flavor, just keep shoveling it in. But very often I get about halfway through a steak and I think, you know what, I'm done. Good enough, I'm satisfied. Tomorrow, for lunch or a snack, I'll, slice this up, reheat it, and, I'm good to go. But it occurred to me that even though I was satisfied, right on the edge of full, if someone would have set a box of Krispy Kreme donuts down next to me, I probably could have tore through them all. And that's one of the challenges, honestly, that I face, the biggest challenge I face being married to a non-keto person. One of the things, and I don't want to throw Terry under the bus for this. I mean, it's her life. She can eat the way she wants. I'm not going to judge her. I'm not going to criticize her and the way that she eats. At some point, I hope she comes around and she starts realizing, you know what? I do feel better when I don't eat this stuff. But until that time comes, it's a constant challenge. There is always some sort of Danish or donuts or cookies. I've thought about doing a video just showing the pantry, showing our pantry, specifically the bottom level of the pantry where chips are kept. And you could see what the ratio is. To me, like I've got like a thing of pork rinds, and it would probably blow your mind to see just how many different chips and snacks and things like that are in our pantry. I don't know, if I do a video like that, I want to make sure that I do it in a way that it doesn't look like I'm judging Terry or the way that she eats, but rather sort of showing here's how I eat instead, or here are the things that I make sure that I have in the pantry for me so that I'm not tempted by these other things. And hopefully you can let me know if those of you who live with someone else who's not keto, would something like that be helpful to you? Let me know down in the comments below. But I think that's going to be it for this video. I'm running out of daylight. I got to get outside and shovel some snow. This is another one of the little X factors that happens during the Wisconsin winter that can affect my shooting schedule. As always, I want to thank all of you for spending a little bit of time with me. I appreciate you all so much. I'll probably talk more about that specifically in the next podcast, but you really, truly mean so much to me. I'm so glad you take a little bit of time to watch my channel. I truly, truly do appreciate all of you. So, thank you. And thanks for watching.